Hey guys, we are back with some more Edmonton Oilers franchise mode, and in this one, we are hopefully going to get through the entire regular season. That is the goal for today, because that means that this team doesn't have any changes to make before the trade deadline, and that we can just smooth sail into the playoffs, and that's what I'm hoping, obviously, because then we'll feel confident going into the playoffs, and that's not 100% of it, but it definitely helps to feel confident in your current roster going into the playoffs. Now, one thing I'll point out before we get started is that Weston Barron is the starter in the AHL, so I want to keep an eye on the AHL team as well a little bit this year, just so that we can ensure that he gets as much growth as possible, as he is that medium elite. We're expecting him at least to be in the NHL by next year. Got to make sure he has a good growth here, gets a lot of wins. And you'll notice Kyler Yamamoto and Steven Santini are the ones sitting for the NHL squad. Yamamoto really does not fit in too well with this squad anymore. As we take a look at the lines, Nuge, McDavid, and Marner is the first line. Second line, Meyer, Draisaitl, and Puljujarvi. Third line, Gino, Anderson, and Wisniewski. Fourth line, Dzingel, Tierney, and Vesey. Defensively, Klefbom and Barry, Byram and Merkley, and then Nurse with Larson. The power play is essentially replicating the 5-on-5 lines. I decided to give Byram some time offensively. I want to just see what he can do. I don't think he'll end up doing much, but there wasn't too many other good options there. I mean, I suppose you could put Anderson there, maybe Wisniewski or Gino, but for right now, I just want to start out the season with Byram. We'll have 4 defensemen on the power play, see how that works out for us. And 4-man power play is effectively the same. Penalty kill, Draisaitl with Tierney, and then Byram and Larson on the first unit. Second unit, Anderson with Meyer, and Nurse and Klefbom. And the 3-man penalty kill, once again, pretty much the same. 4-on-4, McDavid, Marner, Klefbom, and Barry. Draisaitl, Puljujarvi, Byram, and Merkley. Nuge, Meyer, Nurse, and Larson. 3-on-3, McDavid, Marner, and Barry. Draisaitl, Puljujarvi, and Klefbom. Nuge, Meyer, and Merkley. Extra attackers, McDavid and Draisaitl, and the shootout, McDavid, Draisaitl, Marner, Puljujarvi, and Gino. And, of course, in goal, we have Malcolm Subban and Stuart Skinner. We already saw the scratches in Yamamoto and Santini. And that'll do it. Let's get to the regular season. And Ryan Merkley has been injured with an injured groin to start the season until October 15th, so luckily it's not that long. You hate to see it. Malcolm Subban injured with a strained hamstring until November 6th. So we're going to have to ride Stuart Skinner for right now. And do we have to? Yeah, we have to call up, at least temporarily, Weston Barron. So yeah, we're going to have to do that right now. Get up here to the NHL. Want this guy getting as much AHL experience as possible. So we're going to have to fill him in for right now. But we're definitely going to send him back down as soon as we can get our hands on another backup goaltender. Well, I guess a third-string goaltender. So Ben Bishop is in free agency, 36 years of age, but we're only getting him as an emergency third goaltender. Let's give him $2 million for 1 year, see if he accepts. And there he is, Ben Bishop on your Edmonton Oilers. So we have now, I guess, a backup or someone who we can rotate with Stuart Skinner until Subban gets back. So after 1 month, we are 7-4-1. We had a 6-3 loss against LA, a 4-3 loss against Calgary, a 2-1 win over Carolina, a 4-2 loss against the Devils, a 3-1 win over Columbus, a 3-2 shootout win over the Capitals, a 4-3 loss to the Lightning, a 4-3 win over the Hurricanes, a 4-1 win over the Dallas Stars, who are 9-2-1 right now. So that was a key win. A 2-1 win over Philly, who are 9-3, so a couple good teams here. We also had a win over LA, 8-5, winning against some good teams, and a 5-4 overtime loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets to end off the month. Marner with 13 points, McDavid with 12, Meyer with 11, Puljujarvi with 8, Draisaitl, Nuge, and Barry all with 7, Tierney with 5, Wisniewski with 4 goals, Dzingel with 4, Anderson with 4, Vesey with 4, Merkley with 4, in 9 games, of course, with that injury. He missed a few games. Larson with 3, Byram with 3, Gino with 2, Santini with 1 in 3 games, Klefbom with 1, Nurse with 1, Yamamoto has not played yet. Goaltenders, Subban with the .911 save percentage and Skinner with the .865. That's unfortunate. Let's check out our guy, Weston Barron, down here. 5 games played, .950 save percentage so far. So he is rolling as of right now. We'll see if he can keep that up throughout the season. And no assists or points of any kind for Subban or Skinner. Team stats, we are currently 3rd in our division for goals for per game. We're at 3, and a goals against per game of 2.92. 5th in our division. Power play is really good right now. 33 opportunities, 9 goals, 27.3%. Penalty kill is awful, 72%. Alright, not that I'm surprised. We may as well take a look at our penalty kill and see what we can improve. So let's take a look at the takeaway to giveaway ratios for all of our forwards. Leon Draisaitl with 10-3. He is definitely staying on the penalty kill. Chris Tierney with 2-4. Might be able to take him off. Timo Meier, 9-13. 24 hits, though. Actually, how many hits did Tierney have? 14. Alright. Elias Anderson with 6-5. So I don't think I'll take Anderson off. Definitely not taking Draisaitl off. I want to keep Meier on there. Maybe do we just change up the lines a little bit? Like swap players around? Keep the same general group of players, though, on the penalty kill. Maybe we'll try, instead of Larson with Byram, we'll go Clefbaum. And then, instead of Tierney with Draisaitl, we'll go with Meier. And he is back. Malcolm Subban is fully healed. We need him. And Tyson Barrie injured with a strained hamstring until November 21st. That's just great, man. So Merkley up to the first line. Larson move up with Byram. Actually, I want Nurse with Byram, I think, because Larson and Byram are both defensive defensemen, technically. And then we'll get Santini and Larson together. Now, I'm definitely not having Santini on that power play, so we'll get, I think it's going to be Wisniewski on here. And I'm going to switch Wisniewski with Clefbaum. So it'll be Clefbaum and Byram, and instead of Byram, I think, well, actually, our power play's been fine for the most part. So, you know, I don't want to mess with it too much. We'll just have Wisniewski down here with Byram, and we'll do the same thing here. Well, actually, do I want to get someone else there? Yeah, I'll get Timo Meier here instead of Santini. Oh my goodness, we're getting injuries left and right. Adam Larson with a broken foot until January 7th. My goodness. So now Caleb Jones is in there. We called him up from the AHL. Not looking good right now with 2 key injuries on defense in Larson and Barrie. So we're going to have to make do with what we have for right now. Byram, Clefbaum, Nurse. Not having Jones there. It's going to be Merkley. Oh, actually, no, not Merkley. Santini. And Tyson Barrie's finally back. Let's get him in there. So we're at December 1st here, and we're actually doing pretty well for ourselves. We went 9-5 in November, and, you know, that's staying consistent with where we were before in October. So as we take a look at the past month, 2-1 win against Pittsburgh, 3-2 loss against the Devils, 3-0 loss against the Colorado Avalanche, then a 5-3 loss to the Blackhawks, so not off to a great start in November, but then here's where we really start winning. 4-3 shootout win to Minnesota, 2-1 overtime win against the Canucks, a 5-0 loss against the Stars, a 7-1 win against the Canadiens, a 4-2 win against the Wild, a 4-3 win against the Ducks, 4-1 loss against the Golden Knights, a 4-2 win against the Coyotes, a 5-2 win against Tampa, and a 3-1 win against the Habs. So, pretty good month overall. But what isn't having a good month, and just not a good time in general, is the Bakersfield Condors. They are absolutely terrible at scoring. As we take a look, the top point scorer here in the AHL for Bakersfield is Marody, with 12 points in 18 games. Then it goes down to 10 with Cave. 9, 8, 7, 7. These guys suck at scoring. They cannot score to save their lives. Meanwhile, Barron is putting up some pretty respectable numbers. 921 save percentage in 12 games. And they still can't win. So we're going to be signing... Well, actually, I've already approached a few guys in free agency to help them out with scoring. And actually, we'll take a look at the team stats. I took a look at it before, and it is not pretty at all. As we take a look at the goals for per game for Bakersfield, down there at a 2.17. Yeah, they need some help scoring. The goals against per game isn't even that bad. It's middle of the pack for the division. But the offense is just basically nowhere to be found here in Bakersfield. Even the penalty kill is fantastic, 89.4. So if we could just fix that offense, Bakersfield should be good to go. And this is the first time we're really focusing on the AHL squad because we really want Weston Barron to grow as much as possible, get as many wins in there, and hopefully some playoff experience. And the guys that we have approached will hopefully help out with that. And we have approached 3 guys, 1 winger, 1 center, and 1 defenseman. Nick Cousins, Gustav Forsling, and Rudolph Balcers, Channel Hall of Famer Rudolph Balcers with the New Jersey Devils. He is going to be joining our AHL squad, hopefully. And Gustav Forsling, an offensive defenseman on the back end. As we take a look at his stat history, he's got some pretty respectable numbers in the AHL. 40 points back in year number 3, I believe that was, because this is year number 1, right? Yeah, 34 points, 32 points, 40 points. Good for at least 30 points in the AHL in a full season. So we're going to get him on board. And Nick Cousins, we desperately need scoring help. And of course, once they're on board, we're going to have to make room for them in the roster. I'm thinking we'll take one of either Cave or Marody out. Or Esposito. One of these guys is coming out because this team's obviously just... It doesn't work offensively. Stefan Bjorkstrand, who's on the first line in the AHL as our power forward prospect. He's a medium top 6 forward, 19 years of age. Only has 6 points so far. And I believe he's on the power play as well. Yeah, he's on the power play too. This team sucks at scoring. We need to change something there. And as we take a look at the defense, I mean, none of these guys are offensive defensemen. Two-way defender, two-way defender, two-way defender, two-way defender, defensive defenseman, defensive defenseman. Yeah, it's pretty clear as to why this team is not good at scoring. Hopefully our free agent signings can help these guys out. But as far as the Edmonton Oilers go, we're doing pretty okay. We are doing pretty okay. As I mentioned, we went 9-5 in November. And Mitch Marner is point per game. You really can't ask for much more. I know we've had a couple of injuries here and there. Larson's been out, and who else was out? I think Barry was out. Merkley was out for a little bit as well. But for the most part, we've been solid. Timo Meier with 21 points, Draisaitl with 20, Puljujärvi with 18. Yeah, we've been doing pretty well for ourselves here. As we check goaltenders, Subban with a 908 save percentage, Bishop with a 966 apparently in 1 game played, so I can't really complain about that. Stuart Skinner could be better for sure, but at least we have 3 NHL level goaltenders right now in case someone goes down again. Then we won't have too much of a reason to worry as long as one of these 3, I mean, ideally at least 2 out of the 3 of them play well. We should be fine going to the playoffs. And there's Forsling, there's Balcers, there's Cousins. So we have Balcers, Cousins, and Gustav Forsling in there now, and hopefully they can help out Mr. Weston Barron. Bowen Byram injured with injured ribs. Yeah, hate to see it. Till December 15th as well. So I don't think that's too far off, actually. That's probably about a week from now. But nonetheless, we're going to have to move Nurse up, and we'll get... I guess it would be Caleb Jones in there. And Bowen Byram is back. We'll definitely get him back in the lineup. Tyson Barrie injured with a strained hamstring till January 8th. That is unfortunate. All I can say is, wow. We went 12-2 in that month. I don't think we've had a month like that yet in this GM mode. We're now 28-11-1 on the season. That means a 3-2 win over Detroit, a 3-2 win over Buffalo, 5-2 loss to Philly, a 6-3 loss to Chicago. But then from there, it's win, 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 win. 2-1 shootout win against San Jose, 2-1 overtime win against the Capitals, a 5-2 win against Chicago, a 4-2 win against St. Louis, a 5-2 win against Colorado, a 5-2 win against Nashville, a 4-3 win against Calgary, a 4-2 win against San Jose, a 3-0 win versus LA, and a 2-1 shootout win versus Anaheim. I don't know what we did to this team during the offseason. Maybe it was Meyer. Maybe it was something else, but whatever it is, it's working now. As we take a look at the team stats, we are currently second in our division with a 3.03 goals for per game. Goals against per game, we're currently third in our division with a 2.55. Power play isn't actually ideal. It's at a 16.9, so it's gotten worse as the season's gone on, but the penalty kill, good news, has gotten better. We are at an 81.7, almost the top of the division, actually. Anaheim only has an 81.8 in first. But other than that, yeah, I mean, look at that last 10. 10-0. That's impressive. That's progress. That is some serious progress for this team. As we check out the player stats, forwards, Marner with 40 points, McDavid with 35, Draisaitl with 29, Nuge with 26, Anderson with 26, Puljujarvi with 24, Meyer with 22, Gino with 17, Wisniewski with 15, Vesey with 12, Tierney with 11, Dzingel with 9. And we're going to take a look at the shots here. McDavid and Draisaitl both over 100, or at least 100, I should say. Draisaitl is exactly 100. Shooting percentage, Draisaitl with a 14%, Puljujarvi with a 12.9. Power play goals, that would be McDavid with 6. Power play points, McDavid with 13, Marner with 10. Any shorties? We have 2 by Anderson and Meyer. Face-offs, Draisaitl's at a 56.8, McDavid is at a 56.5. Anderson's at a 47.3, and Tierney is at a 46.7. So, at least our 2 main guys, they're doing fine for face-offs. Hits, Timo Meyer with 78, McDavid with 62, 59 for Draisaitl, 55 for Puljujarvi, 40 for Tierney, 30 for Dzingel, 19, 17, 16, all the guys that don't hit. And takeaways to giveaways, Puljujarvi with 64 to 16, McDavid 61 to 15. I'm glad that they're on separate lines right now because that is some incredible defensive chemistry right there. You know, you have one guy who's great with takeaways on one line and another guy on the other, and it just makes for some pretty good offense, I would imagine. Wisniewski with a 27 to 21, 26 to 22 for Draisaitl, 24 to 28 for Meyer, 23 to 11 for Dzingel, 20 to 24 for Marner, 19 to 20 for Anderson, 18 to 22 for Nuge, 18 to 21 for Gino, Vesey with a 14 to 19, 14 to 18 for Tierney, and fights, any fights for forwards? No. Defensemen, Merkley with 17 points, Barry with 15, Nurse with 10, Kleppbaum with 8, Byram with 7, Santini with 4, Larson with 4, and Jones with 1. Hit-wise, Kleppbaum was 69, Byram was 66, Nurse was 61, and then it drops off to Santini with 34. Now that is over hit per game for him. He's only played 26 games so far. Barry with 20, Larson with 20. Now, again, over hit per game. Larson's only played 18 games due to injury. And Merkley with 10, we know he doesn't hit. We may as well check giveaways to takeaways, though we know it's, for defensemen, it's a little bit different. As long as it's a 2-to-1 ratio for giveaways to takeaways, I'm usually okay with it. That appears to be the case with Kleppbaum, Nurse, Merkley. All those guys are okay. Byram, he looks like he's improving from last year. Last year was a little bit brutal with the giveaways. He had 118 last year. This year he's only on pace for, I would say, 85. So he's making progress, and that's with increased ice time. So Bowen Byram definitely getting much better. Barry, 8 to 24. Larson's actually done pretty well as well, 7 to 10. That's actually pretty good for him. Santini, 4 to 23. That's a bit brutal. And 1 to 5 for Jones. Goaltenders. Malcolm Subban, he has stepped up his play in the past month. 924 save percentage. That was at a 912 before. Yeah, he's got much better. 23 wins, 6 losses, 1 shutout. So he's been pretty incredible. Ben Bishop hasn't played since we last checked the stats, and Stuart Skinner with an 889. Any goals, any assists? We have 1 assist from Subban. So as I said, as long as we're winning, we're going to keep going in this episode, because it's right now, I have no problems with this team whatsoever, although I really wish Bakersfield was... I really wish Bakersfield was doing better. They're 10, 17, and 1. What is going on down here at Bakersfield? That's the next challenge for us, I think. Let's see, goaltenders. So Barron has 6 wins. That's criminal. See, that is absolutely criminal. A 923 save percentage in 18 games and only 6 wins. Wow. I'm so sorry, Weston. I don't know what to do here in Bakersfield. It seems like they're incapable of winning down here. What is going on? Balsers with 5 points, Cousins with 6 points, so those two are helping out for sure. What about Forsling? 4 points. Yeah, he already, in probably half the amount of games, only 8 games played, he probably has close to the amount of points that all these guys have, if not more already. Yeah, like Malik has 3 points in, 24 games? Yeah, 24 games for him, and only 8 games played for Forsling, already has 4 points. So he's definitely helping out. It's just these guys need to get going somehow. I might spend a little bit of time trying to figure this out because I really want Weston Barron to get some playoff experience down here, but at the moment, the way that Bakersfield is going, it doesn't look like that's happening. So let's see if we can. I'm going to mess with the power play and penalty kill a little bit. Oh, that's rough. Bakersfield's goals for per game has actually gone down in the past month. It's now at a 2. It was at a 2.17 before, now at a 2. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. If we could just figure out the goal scoring for Bakersfield, these guys would be set because they have the goaltending, they have the defense. Their penalty kills at 90%. But the power play and the goals for is just nowhere to be found. 56 goals for in 28 games played. That's embarrassing. We have to figure that out. So I found someone from the Florida Panthers who looks pretty good in the AHL. Marcus Nurmi. He has almost as many points as he does games played there in the AHL. So we're going to be going after him. He's a 78 overall. He will definitely help out our AHL squad. We're also picking up Jean-Christopher Baudouin, 79 overall, so he's bound to help out there. And we just need to get some wins down there in the AHL. We're trading away Osgood. He's 23 now, 70 overall. Doesn't look like he's grown too much. We're also trading Fleischer. Again, he's 74 overall, and he's still not really good offensively down here in the AHL. So that's why we are trading both of these guys for Nurmi, Baudouin, and a 4th. Proposed trade accepted. There you go. So now the AHL team looks much better on paper, of course. We'll see how they simulate. And obviously, I don't really like stacking up the AHL as much as we have here because it takes away time from guys like Bjorkstrand and who else? And Sulubov, he's a low elite. But in this case, the prospect that we're trying to grow is the most important one, and that is Weston Barron. And so that he can get as many wins as possible and hopefully some playoff experience as well, we need to build a great team around him. So that's why we have gone after all those trades, all those free agents. And they may only be temporary, but again, we really, really need Weston Barron to grow a lot more than we need someone like Bjorkstrand or Sulubov to grow. So hopefully the AHL team can finally get going, and let's continue on with the simulation. And Adam Larson is fully healed and available to play in our next game. We'll definitely have to get him back in there. And now Tyson Barrie has returned, so we have to send one of our players down now. And I believe that would be Caleb Jones. And just as we send Jones down, Bowen Byram injured with a sore shoulder until January 14th. Man, these injuries. At least that's not too long from now. That's about a week and a half, I would say, from now. But the good news is that Tyson Barrie is getting back in the lineup. And now Byram is back. I have no idea what happened to this team, but this is kind of incredible. We went 9-3 in January, so we're 37-14-1. This is definitely the best roster that we have constructed in the entire GM mode. 75 points. We are way ahead in first in our division. Actually, we are tied with the New Jersey Devils for first in the entire league. I have no issue. I don't know about you guys, but as far as the NHL squad, I have no issues with this team whatsoever. We could probably go through do the entire simulation in this episode, as long as we can figure out Bakersfield, which is what I'm worried about, to be honest. What to do about Bakersfield. They might be a lost cause at this point. I'm hoping not, but it's looking like it. Okay, so their goals for per game has actually gone up to a 2.22. That was at a 2 before. Goals against per game has stayed relatively the same. Power play has gone up to first in the division. Very nice. Penalty kill only gone down a little bit to an 87.7. That's still fine. But you know what? For the most part, oh wow, Colorado! Look at Colorado's penalty kill, 94.6. That is ridiculous. But yeah, for the most part, Bakersfield looks like they're trending in the right direction. They're 15-21-1. So I guess as long as they can prevent themselves from falling into the trap of not scoring again, they should be heading in the right direction, especially with Nurmi and Bodwin now. Yeah, we definitely needed these two guys, 38 and 35 points respectively. The guys after them, Marodi with 21, Suglobov with 20. Yeah, it's not a pretty situation here at Bakersfield. And Weston Barron, I know you're trying, buddy. Only 7 wins in 21 games played. That is brutal. Why is Erson getting time? He should not be getting time. It should, at least 75% of the game should be going to Barron. Imagine the AHL team being what prevents us from continuing the simulation. Yeah, I think we just gotta leave it alone. We just have to let the simulation take its course, because there's not much else I can do. There's really not. We've basically stacked up the top 6 now, at least in terms of, stacked for the AHL. It just has to work. It just kind of has to work now. And so far, it's not doing that. Again, they're trending in the right direction, but that doesn't mean that it's all good and peachy here. All of a sudden, it's definitely not. We need Bakersfield to start getting some W's. And Weston Barron, my man, you got to carry this team on your back, it looks like, because they're certainly not doing you any favors. This is actually incredible. 46, 16, and 2 the day before the trade deadline. That's insane. We went 9-2-1 in that month. Shootout loss to San Jose 4-3. A 3-2 win over Nashville. A 7-1 win against Vancouver. A 2-1 loss against Anaheim. A 4-1 win against Vegas. A 3-1 win against the Rangers. A 5-0 win against Vegas. A 3-2 win over Ottawa, a 4-3 win over the Islanders, a 4-1 loss to the Penguins, a 2-1 overtime win against the Maple Leafs, and a 7-1 win against the Senators. Oh boy, I'm not going to jinx anything, but this team is seriously, it's looking very, very good. My expectations have risen tenfold after seeing the simulation. I'm completely confident in this roster. I don't think we're changing a thing, because, 46, 16, and 2 speaks for itself. And more good news is that the Bakersfield Condors looks like they have started to win some games. They're now 23, 25, and 1. That was previously, if we were to continue on the track that we were before in the AHL, those guys would they probably wouldn't have more than 13 wins right now. It was pretty bad down there. So let's specifically check out the AHL. We'll check out the NHL too, but we may as well, at this rate, we may as well save checking the NHL stats for the end of the video for when we finish off the simulation, because there's really no point in stopping the NHL simulation right now. The only reason we've stopped the simulation is to check the AHL team. And when was the last time we did that? Before this episode anyway. So goals for per game. We are at 2.31 now, so that's going up, which is obviously pretty good. Goals against per game has gone down. Power play has gone down as well. That's unfortunate. But the penalty kill has stayed consistent, and in the last 10, they are 6-4. So Bakersfield finally starting to get on the board a little bit more. Nurmi looks like he's helping out tremendously. 47 points. Bodwin with 45. Yeah, we desperately needed these two from Florida. They are helping out tremendously down here. How about Forsling? 14 points in 29 games. Balsers with 13. Cousins with 19. Let's check on Barron. Barron, 31 games played, 918 save percentage. Yeah, he's been consistent all year. It's just the team during the first half of the season was not up to par at all offensively. So glad we finally got him some help. Maybe they can. I don't think there's any way that they're clinching the playoffs at this point. It's just more about getting as many wins as possible at this point. Well, actually, they're only 3 points behind Stockton. What are the playoff? Is there any wild card here in the AHL? It doesn't look like it, because there's no symbols there that signify a wild card. Is there any way to check the wild card race in the AHL? Or is it just 1 through 8 situation going on here? It might be. We are 11th in the West in the AHL. So maybe if we could keep getting some wins, just stringing some wins together, maybe we could slot into that 8th spot, or maybe we get lucky, get into 7 or 6. I don't know. It's still wide open. Obviously, if this team continued the way it was earlier in the season, I wouldn't have any confidence, but since we're 6-4 in the last 10, maybe we can make some noise. But as far as the NHL squad goes, do we really need to check anything? We're having an incredible season right now. And, look, 94 points in 64 games, and we are 19 points ahead of the Calgary Flames. That's incredible. That is incredible, and we are tied still with the New Jersey Devils for the President's Trophy currently. And actually, they have a game in hand, so I guess they are slightly ahead of us in that sense, but we're right there. We're right there with the top teams in the entire league, and it is about time. It is about time for the Edmonton Oilers. So, again, honestly, let's just skip the trade deadline, and we'll go through the rest of the season, because I'm pretty sure that we have the depth that we need in case of any injuries in the playoffs. We have Santini, Yamamoto, we have Bishop in net, and then in the AHL, you have some veterans such as Caleb Jones, and you have Gustav Forsling down here now, Joe Morrow as well, so you're set for defense as far as depth goes. And then you also have, in terms of forwards, you have Bodwin, you have Cousins, you have Nurmi. So I think, we're set to move into the playoffs at this point. There's no reason to worry. I'm not even sure if it's even possible for us to fall out of the playoffs at this point. Literally, I think one more win and we're in. That would take us to 96 points, and we still have 18 games left. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. So let's just, I'll see you guys at the end of the regular season, to be honest. Oh. No. This is the worst thing possible. This is the worst thing possible. No. Oh, we're already past the trade deadline. It just had to happen right after the trade deadline. Unreal. Connor McDavid injured with post-concussion syndrome until May 17th. No. You gotta be joking. You have got to be joking. And it's not like last year, where Draisaitl got injured for a long time, but at least that was before the trade deadline. This happened literally 2 days after the trade deadline. No. Alright, rats. That is the worst thing possible. He's out until basically the end of the second round, if not the third round. Wow. No. Why? This didn't need to happen this season. You know what? Everything was going so well. Something bad had to happen at some point. And that's the way that's the way EA treats us. We finally put together a great team, and the captain goes down for a long time. That literally messes everything up. That messes everything up. Look at our lines now. Meyer, Nuge, and Marner's the first line. Second line, Anderson, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi. Third line, Yamamoto's getting in there for the first time this year with Gino and Wisniewski, and then Dzingel, Tierney, and VZ, the fourth line, untouched. Defense, of course, is untouched as well. But the power play, oh my goodness. Meyer, Nuge, Marner, Merkley, and Klefbom, and then Anderson, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi, Wisniewski, and Barry. Format power play, Nuge and Marner. It messes literally everything up besides maybe the penalty kill in the defense. Oh my goodness. Nuge is double shifting on the 4-on-4 and the 3-on-3. Extra attackers, Nuge is there as well. Shootout, Nuge is there. The unfortunate part is there's nothing we can do about it except to rely on our depth at this point. And Subban. Subban needs to come in clutch. He needs to come in clutch right now. McDavid out until May 17th. It just had to happen in this season. That's how it works. That is how it works with EA. We just have to hope. We have to really cross our fingers that this first line of Meyer, Nuge, and Marner is capable of getting it done, because that's a huge loss. That's huge. What did McDavid end the season with? The regular season with anyway? 59 points in 65 games. That's going to be hard to replace. 219 shots as well. What was his face-offs? 54.38. The thing that really gets me here is the takeaways to giveaways, 104 to 30. That's going to be hard to replace. I mean, obviously McDavid, regardless of what his stats are, is hard to replace no matter what, but just the fact that he was having a great defensive season, and not only that, he had nearly point per game. That's, all right, I'm going to stop complaining, because there's no use. Again, there's not much we can do about it except rely on our depth. I'm just hoping that this doesn't ruin the the run to the playoffs, to the Stanley Cup. Oh my goodness. You have got to be joking. Tyson Barrie out with the concussion till May 11th. Why? Is this the karma from trading for that third overall pick from the Wolfsburg GM mode? This is probably that. Tyson Barrie out until May 11th. Unreal, dude. Unreal. This team is snake bit. This team is snake bit right now. I don't know how else to explain all the injuries. Gino's on the power play now, and it's just a huge mess. It's just a mess right now. We have to really, really hope that our depth can come through in the clutch in the playoffs. Because, I mean, these injuries are ridiculous, dude. McDavid out till May 17th. Barrie out till May 11th, I think it said. Wow. And let me tell you, it's a good thing. It is a good thing that we got all those wins out of the way early. Because now, since the trade deadline, and we're now at the end of the season, we went 7, 10, and 1 in that previous stretch. Yeah. So this was the trade deadline, right? The 29th? 4-1 loss. 4-3 win. 4-1 loss. 4-1 loss. 5-1 loss. 3-2 loss. 2-1 shootout loss. 3-2 win. 2-1 win. 2-1 loss. 2-1 loss. 3-2 shootout win. 2-1 loss. 4-2 win. 2-1 overtime win. 6-0 loss. And then this is when Barrie gets injured. 4-1 loss. 5-2 win. 53, 26, and 3 is how we finished the season. We were on the verge of greatness. This team was on the verge of greatness. We still finished first in our division. I have no problems with that. And we finished first in our conference, for that matter. Of course, we didn't get the President's Trophy. We were actually third for that, as Washington had 110 points. But we could have had a legendary season if not for the injuries to McDavid and Barrie. Those are a couple of huge injuries. As we saw by our post-trade deadline record, 7-10-1. Oh, that makes me a bit nervous. And that's not something that you can prepare for either, because both of those injuries happen after the trade deadline. It's just like, you think everything's going well, and then, nope. Couple of things just had to, a couple of huge players had to go down in this part of the season and be down for a long time. We may as well check out the stats. And unfortunately, it also doesn't look like the AHL team is making it anywhere close to the playoffs, but at least they definitely got better as the year went on. 31, 29, and 4. Let's check out, I'm mainly concerned about Weston Barron. I want to check out his stats before anything else. And he had a .915 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 40 games played, only 17 wins. That's brutal. I'm sorry, buddy. Wish I could have put a better team around you right away. So forwards, Mitch Marner led our forwards in scoring this year, 72 points in 82 games. Seemingly one of the few players who didn't get injured. McDavid in 65 games had 59 points. Draisaitl with 54 points. Anderson with 50 points. So Elias Anderson did his job very well. Glad we have him. Nuge, 49 points. Puljujarvi, 44. Meyer, 41. We need that first line of Nuge, Meyer, and Marner to do something magical in the playoffs. Just make up for the loss of McDavid. Wisniewski with 36 points. That is, I believe, a career high for him. Yes, indeed. He had 24 in his rookie season. 11 more assists this year and 1 more goal than he had the previous year. Up to an 81 overall. He is slowly but steadily growing. Gino with 34 points. VZ with 23. Dzingel with 21. Tierney with 20. Yamamoto with 5 in 17. Faceoffs. Draisaitl at a 57.2. McDavid at a 54.4. Anderson at a 48.2. Tierney at a 46.1. And then Gino had to get in there as well for some faceoffs after McDavid got injured. He had a 44.8. Hits. Meyer with 176. This is partially why I traded for him. And of course, his defensive ratios weren't as great as they have in the past, but he still brought it physically every single night and brought us 41 points in the process. And 127 for Draisaitl, 114 for McDavid, 112 for Puljujarvi and Tierney, and then everybody else after that, not as physical as we would have liked them to be. But I guess Meyer made up for that. Takeaways to giveaways, and of course, Puljujarvi with 122-44, defensive beast, and McDavid 104-30, that hurts, losing him. 56-47 for Draisaitl, 50-47 for Wisniewski, 47-47 for Meyer, 45-46 for Marner, 44-29 for Dzingel, 37-44 for Gino, 36-55 for Elias, 36-40 for Tierney, 35-45 for Nuge, 31-39 for VZ, 8-12 for Yamamoto. Any fights for forwards? No. Defensively, Merkley with 39 points, Barry with 31 in 72. That's another huge loss. I could talk about that for ages, but we're going to move on from it as much as we can because we have to deal with it. Injuries are a part of hockey, but the couple of injuries in particular that we got are just incredibly. They definitely hurt our chances. I'll say that much. Klefbom, 20 points. Nurse with 17. Byram with 14. Larson with 9 in 58 games. And Santini with 4 in 33. Hits. Klefbom with 148. Byram with 126. Nurse with 125. Larson with 55 and 58. Basically a hit per game. Barry and Santini with 41. Santini over a hit per game. And Merkley with 18. We know he doesn't hit. Takeaways to giveaways. That's good for Klefbom. Good for Merkley. Much better for Byram than he was last year. Again, he had well over 100 last year, 118 giveaways in 82 games, only 78 in 76 this year. Got much better and with increased ice time. 26-64 for Nurse, 21-30 for Larson. That's a very good ratio for him compared to what he normally has. 17-57 for Barry and 7-29 for Santini. And goaltenders, Malcolm Subban held his own, .926 save percentage, 3 shutouts, 45 wins in 65 games played, and 3 assists to add on to that. And let's check out the team stats to end off the episode, and then we'll find out who we're facing. Goals for per game, we were second in our division, 2.83. Goals against per game, we were second in our division as well, 2.41. Power play, we were fifth in our division, 17.1. And the penalty kill, however, we were by far first in our division, 85.5. And our last 10, 5-5. So definitely not going to the playoffs on a hot note. But once you're in, that's all that matters. And it will be the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round. So we'll see what we're going up against here in Vegas. First line, Jonathan Huberdeau, William Karlsson, and Mark Stone. Pretty good first line. Second line, Riley Smith, Cody Glass, and Alex Tuck. Pretty good second line as well. Third line, Anthony Rawlings, Joachim Helmainen, and Pierre Engvall. Butchering these names like crazy now. Fourth line, Scott Lawton, Casey Zizekas joined them as well, and Dylan Gunther. Defensively, Shea Theodore and Colin Miller, Nick Hogg and Nate Schmidt, Jeremy Waugh, and Ethan Bear on the Vegas Golden Knights. That's right, we traded him to Vegas for a second-round pick in one of the drafts. I forget which one, but we did trade him to Vegas for a second. That's more than I thought we would get for him for sure. But, yeah, he's there in Vegas as their sixth defenseman, it looks like, and Varlamov and Fleury in net. And scratched our Beaulieu, Mueller, and Pickard. Cooper Pickard, to be specific, a medium elite prospect of theirs. I wonder why he's not playing. He's medium elite, 80 overall defenseman, drafted 4th overall in 2022. He should be playing. At least on my team, he'd be playing. I'd scratch Waugh for him, for sure. But, oh well. Not my team. So, there are the Vegas Golden Knights. And the playoff matchups in the East, we have the Lightning versus the Red Wings, the Capitals versus the Flyers, the Devils versus the Blue Jackets, and the Sabres versus the Hurricanes. And the West, we have the Flames versus the Canucks, the Stars versus the Jets, the Blues versus the Ducks, and your Edmonton Oilers versus the Vegas Golden Knights. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one when we start the year 6, is it now? Yes, 6, wow. The year 6 playoffs. See you guys then.